Tonight, why Whyalla is being overlooked for a mega million port project. And Port Lincoln gets all revved up with another successful auto sprint.
This is Southern Cross News.
Hello, Ali Drower sitting in for another few days for Fraser Goldsworthy as he continues to enjoy a short break. First tonight, plans are being rolled out for work to start on a $250 million rail upgrade between Tarcoola and Adelaide, taking in Port Augusta for the first time. Garth Burley has this report.
A case of out with the old, in with the new.
Well, we're here today to mark the laying of the first rail on the Adelaide-Tarcoola line, the 600 kilometres.
Built with 72,000 tonnes of Whyalla-made steel, the new rail line will be able to sustain an extra 8 tonnes of weight, which means more efficiency transporting out of Whyalla. Government body ARTC, who owns a lot of the rail throughout the company, is planning to use local resources in their interstate rail projects.
That rail too will come out of Whyalla, be welded up in Port Augusta and go to that job in the eastern states.
The steelworks won't be the only beneficiary of the upgrade, with the project creating around 180 jobs for local workers.
We had a sort of 12-day training program where we brought people up to a semi-skilled and skilled level to carry out the tasks you see here today.
With a strong local focus on the project, John Holland is keen to continue the strong program, encouraging more Indigenous workers to become involved.
Especially on a project like this, it's always, a good initiative to have to encourage, especially with the employment rates.
The upgrade should be completed by April next year. Garth Burley, Southern Cross News.
Police across the Eyre Peninsula and our west had a very busy long weekend, ensuring we were all doing the right thing behind the wheel. A major driver safety blitz saw nearly 900 drivers breathalyzed and drug tested across the 4 days. Considering the huge amount of traffic on our highways, police say motorists respected the double demerit point period and our Eyre Peninsula region remained fatality-free. More than 270 drivers were drug tested, with 34 returning positive results. And out of more than 600 random breath tests, only 2 drivers were found over the limit. Another 115 were handed fines for traffic offences and 40 vehicles were found to have defects. Whyalla's Mayor Lynn Brewer is wondering why the city is being bypassed as a location for a new deep-sea port. The EPLGA is a body representing the region's councils and it is keen on Cape Hardy as the location. Mayor Brewer wants to know why Whyalla is not getting a fair chance to state its case.
Before the state election, Labor promised to build a deep-sea port in the Spencer Gulf to help the agriculture and mining industry. The Liberal Party also said it would consider it. Whyalla has put its hand up, with Mayor Lynn Brewer saying the city has a right infrastructure.
Possibilities for future freight from the mines from the north, that we would make a lot more sense than moving it down the peninsula a long way.
However, the Eyre Peninsula Local Government Association decided at its last meeting that it'll support a business case for choosing Cape Hardy.
I'm not into political games or brinkmanship. We're making decisions that are about the best for the Eyre Peninsula.
Whyalla Council is now demanding answers as to why an organisation that's meant to represent the entire region is now supporting a single option.
We're letting the EPLGA know that we were not happy with what happened at the meeting.
Mayor Telfer also took aim at Whyalla Council.
There's some individuals on the Whyalla Council that don't have the same perspective on the whole of the EP economy.
Despite the tension, Mayor Brewer believes the two bodies can sort their differences out.
We still are on Eyre Peninsula, people still come to our city and will continue to do so whatever happens.
John Hunt, Southern Cross News.
The company which bought the Whyalla Steelworks has appointed a high-profile advisor to navigate future developments. Former Foreign Affairs Minister Alexander Downer will sit on an advisory board appointed by the chairman of GFG Alliance, Sanjeev Gupta. Mr Downer recently served as the UN's envoy on Cyprus and has completed a term as Australia's High Commissioner to the UK. He will join former Smorgon Steel CEO Ray Hornsberg and investment banker Simon McKeough on the panel. The trio will advise Mr Gupta on the company's growth and development. Ahead on Southern Cross News, how appointing a full-time magistrate in Broken Hill all hinges on finding a place for them to live. Welcome back. You are watching Southern Cross News. Well, Broken Hill will continue to be serviced by a series of fly-in, fly-out magistrates as the Justice Department tries to work out exactly how any full-time recruit will be accommodated. Patrick Reinke has some more details.
In a statement to Southern Cross News, the New South Wales Department of Justice says it has decided to put the existing magistrates' residence up for sale and will be looking to buy another property. This process means there might be more delays depending on market conditions. The department had investigated just how much it would cost to upgrade the current magistrate residence, which Southern Cross is unable to show because of security reasons. While the property has been found to be safe, the potential sale would delay the appointment of a full-time magistrate in Broken Hill. At the moment, justice is being served in the Silver City and Wilcannia by magistrates flying in and then flying out for short stints on the bench. There had been plans to have a permanent magistrate in place by this week. Defence Lawyers New South Wales is frustrated with the current situation, saying the Far West deserves someone who understands the complexities of the region.
The full-time magistrate in Broken Hill is a man who would be well aware of local issues and how locals see things, and certainly magistrate will be considering those things when he makes decisions hands out penalties in criminal matters.
The Justice Department says there is nothing further to add at this stage around a full-time appointment, and the property sale is expected to take several months to conclude.
Meantime, the builders of the new health centre in Broken Hill say the project is on schedule as the city copes with growing demand for more services. Interior fit-outs have now started and the final touches on the exterior will be done in coming weeks, along with connecting and testing power. The facility is part of a multi-million-dollar redevelopment of the local health service, featuring child and family health services as well as new staff quarters. It's expected to be finished in the second half of the year. Port Augusta has been a pit stop for a group of anti-nuclear campaigners as they work their way towards Melbourne on a 10-day radioactive waste tour. The ICAN Community Coalition Group is visiting nuclear sites to create more awareness around the impact of uranium mining and nuclear waste dumps on rural communities. Environmental activist group Friends of the Earth says the disposal of nuclear waste is an issue close to home for Port Augusta residents.
We've got 3 sites in South Australia which are nominated to potentially host a national nuclear waste dump. So we're meeting with those communities and talking with people about their thoughts about these proposals.
And the tour wraps up in the Flinders Ranges at the end of this week. Wyalla's Unearthed Festival has promised to be bigger and better in 2019 as the event grows every Easter. Big crowds made the most of the sunny conditions to check out a range of Adelaide fringe entertainment.
Easter in Wyalla has been revitalised, with locals lapping it up.
Anybody that didn't enjoy themselves, I think they better go and take a good look at themselves. It was a great weekend.
Unearthed had everything from singing and dancing to shopping opportunities and even tasting some good food. Kids also got the chance to take part in workshops to learn how the stars put it together. The event also unearthed some rising local talent, with Emily Rawlings making her Unearthed debut.
To all your friends, and because everyone here knows each other, so it's very welcoming to be up on stage in front of Wyalla.
Scott Darlow took a break from touring with John Stevens to play in front of the Wyalla crowd.
This year I'm doing solo. I'd actually love to bring my band back. I just actually rang my wife like a minute ago to tell her that she should be here.
But the star of the weekend was cabaret superstar Hans. The outrageous German crooner was out and about, enjoying what Wyalla has to offer.
I'm already meeting some new fans here in Wyalla, and oh darlings, they're delicious.
Mayor Brewer says people are voting with their feet, and Unearthed is here to stay.
We're going to move ahead with this and it's going to get bigger and better every year.
John Hunt, Southern Cross News.
An amazing find by volunteers working at the annual Peterborough Festival over the Easter break. They have been stunned to find a 100-year-old telegram from one of the First World War's most famous battlegrounds, as Rachel Nell reports.
An important piece of local history discovered a century after it was sent. The handwritten telegram was sent from the Western Front in France and details one of the bloodiest battles for the First World War, the Battle of the Somme.
The telegram was sent to the Petersburg Times office on the 28th of March 1918.
The fragile telegram was found in the printing workshop of the old newspaper. A local volunteer noticing the piece of paper stuck to the bottom of an old printing board.
During that process of cleaning and setting up, we brushed off the back and there it was, a very old telegram.
It was stuck on the underside of one of the shelves here, and during cleaning it was found.
The history group has since had the telegram restored.
We've taken it to Art Lab for conserving and they've framed it for us.
You sort of go, wow, how can something that delicate still be in one piece?
The local area connection to the telegram still remains a mystery, but with soldiers from across the Mid-North sent to fight in the First World War, history buffs are sure they'll find out eventually.
You get quite emotional over it.
Organisers of the annual Art and Cultural Festival have been thrilled with the turnout of visitors to Peterborough.
Bring the town together and it gets a lot of tourists through. For instance, the art prize itself gets something like 1,100 visitors come through every year.
Rachel Nell, Southern Cross News.
Stay with us after the break. A mystery ex-lotto winner and the Tikal Auto Sprint revs up Port Lincoln. Well, SA Lotteries is trying to track down the winner of Saturday's ex-lotto draw, the winning $4 million ticket having been sold in Port Lincoln. Now, the good news is the winner is registered and the winning ticket was purchased at Port Lincoln's News Express Beers on Tasman Terrace. So you better stay by that phone just in case SA Lotteries is trying to give you a call tonight. Let's go to some sport now, and lots of pre-season training already underway for all of our footy clubs. In Broken Hill, the league there is looking at one of the most competitive comps in recent years, as Patrick Reinke reports.
There's just over 2 weeks to go before footy is back in the Silver City, starting with the pre-season Lightning Cup on the 21st of this month.
We believe it gives a great opportunity to get some match practice in. It's a great opportunity for people and supporters to see some of the new players, the young players, and how their clubs are looking for the season.
Western Central will then kick off the minor rounds when they meet on Anzac Day. This year's season has been shortened from 18 games to 15, a decision made by all 4 clubs. Andrew Schmidt says 2018 is set to be a great showcase for local talent.
This is probably the most aggressive I've seen the 4 clubs in attempting to lure and recruit players to their club. Not just from each other, but from out of town as well.
For the last 4 seasons, South has been the benchmark side in Broken Hill footy, with North close behind. Many are hoping that Central and West can rise to that level and cause a few upsets along the way.
We want people to go to the football on a Saturday not knowing who's going to win. We want to see competitive games. We don't want to see 100-point blowouts.
AFL Broken Hill will hold its season launch this Sunday, bringing together all 4 clubs and sponsors and naming their #1 ticket holder.
We'll have people from AFL New South Wales here, and they'll hold an information session prior to the season launch, things like the back office part of running a footy club. So it's fairly important.
The launch is open to footy fans starting at 6 o'clock at Time on Argent. Patrick Reinke, Southern Cross News.
A sporty mum from Boolaroo in the state's mid-north has been named as a standout among all other women players in the WAFL. Courtney Gum has been named this year's most valuable player, capping a sensational season with the Greater Western Sydney Giants.
It's a long way from Boolaroo Centre, but GWS midfielder Courtney Gum is enjoying more accolades in the women's AFL, receiving more than 200 votes to be named the league's MVP.
Probably one of the most valuable awards that I've won. It just seems really meaningful and I feel really, really humbled.
Her footy career began at her family farm.
Played lots of backyard sport. Obviously we were heavily involved in football and netball within the community.
Now she's a critical player for the Giants, providing the edge the side needs to secure the most narrowest of victories.
Tough, very focused. She's obviously a ball magnet. You know, she finds plenty of the football and uses it very well.
Initially considered too old to play in the inaugural season, Gum, now aged 36, has proven everyone wrong. After an outstanding performance in the Sandful series, the Giants saw her life experience as a positive.
Brings a poise to our team that we thought was critical when we recruited her. So we saw that as an asset, not something that diminished from her claims.
You know, playing against your peers at the highest possible level has just been, amazing.
She says the journey has been a roller coaster ride, moving states and leaving her young family behind. But she hopes she's making everyone back home proud.
For a small town, hopefully a good achievement for them to watch, because that's honestly where it all started.
Rachel Nell, Southern Cross News.
The second running of the Tikal Auto Sprint in Port Lincoln has certainly revved up interest in making the event bigger and shinier the next time. Dan Day made it 2 in a row on the podium as more than 70 competitors took to the track.
Unbeaten in Port Lincoln's Tikal Auto Sprint, Dan Day had a point to prove that he's the king of Port Lincoln's new racetrack.
It's been very challenging for us, some really strong competitors, but it's really kept us on our toes and made me push to the limit.
Attending his first event as Tourism Minister, David Ridgway enjoyed a lap on the track and praised the Port Lincoln community for getting behind the event.
I've just had a hot lap with Peter Tikal in his 488 Ferrari. That was really cool to do something like that. Great fun on a Easter Sunday.
To have the Minister here for tourism and to have him in my car, and I told him to sit down, shut up and hang on. And he enjoyed every second of it.
It's a fabulous regional event, and the people behind it and Peter Tikal and everybody involved really need a pat on the back for a spectacular regional tourism event.
The success of the second auto sprint means many motoring enthusiasts are keen to support the event in the future.
It's so much fun, and we do a lot of fishing here in Port Lincoln, and decided to support the town. No, it's great. It's a very good event.
We won't book any holidays away. This will be our holiday destination over Easter, and you can't beat a weekend away racing with the family, so we love it.
Casey Trelaw, Southern Cross News.
A great weekend there. Your local weather is coming up next with Amy Stevenson. And Amy, we're not quite ready to ditch the t-shirts just yet.
Well, Ali, it is set to heat back up again as we get through a shorter working week after a visit from the Easter Bunny. I'll have all the details next. Welcome back. Warm autumn temperatures around all centres today. A sunny 28 in Port Augusta. It was slightly cooler in Whyalla and Port Lincoln. Meanwhile, temperatures sat in the high 20s elsewhere. Checking the satellite now, and some showers forming over the southeastern Kangaroo Island. However, skies will remain clearer elsewhere thanks to dry southerly winds. If you're heading out to spend some time on the waters tomorrow, expect southeasterly winds shifting southwesterly up to 15 knots. Seas will reach 1.5 metres and the sun will pop up at 6:32. Taking a look at tomorrow's weather, and the mercury will keep rising. Port Augusta can expect a top of 30. Temperatures will continue to be a little cooler in the west. Meanwhile, we'll see maximum daytime temperatures in the high 20s and towards 30 in all other districts. Looking towards the weekend as it creeps back up on us, and temperatures in the mid-20s forecasted in Port Lincoln, a top of 26 on Saturday. Similar conditions for the rest of the week in Cleve before 30 on the weekend. Meanwhile, it will still feel like summer this week in Woodner with sunny 30-degree days before a much warmer 34 on Saturday. Look further up the Gulf, and maximums in Whyalla will stay in the mid-20s before heading to 30. Port Augusta will also remain quite warm into the weekend. Meanwhile, Kadina can enjoy some milder temperatures in the mid to high 20s. The summer-like weather will continue in Port Perry, reaching 31 on Saturday. Temperatures will continue to stay in the mid to high 20s in Clare, while those warm temperatures will hang around in Broken Hill with sunny days and a predicted top of 31 on Saturday. So, Ali, make sure your chocolate goodies are in the fridge with the warm and sunny weather set to continue around the Spencer Gulf this week.
Well, not a great deal of chocolate actually left in my household, unfortunately. Thanks for that, Amy. Before we go, a reminder that with our coverage of the Commonwealth Games from the Gold Coast starting tomorrow night, Southern Cross News is moving over to 7 Mate for the next few weeks. So I hope you can join us there at 6:30 for all your local news. We'll be back on the main channel from the 16th of April. For now, on behalf of the entire team, enjoy the rest of your night.